Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Welcome to Being Here. I'm Ariel.
I'm Shya.
Oh, today's episode, true happiness. There's fake happiness and true happiness. And true happiness happens when you're doing what you're doing like it's your idea.
Yes.
All right.
You know, it may start out like your idea originally, but then you may get bored with it.
Or you go, why did I put that in my schedule?
Well, you know, I remember when I was a kid,
Yeah.
Glenn Traeger's father hired Glenn and I to sort through a box of screws and nails and put the screws in one box and the nails in the other.
Oh,
And it seemed like a good idea.
very taxing.
You know, we made 25 cents or something like that for 8 hours of work. And but pretty soon it wasn't my idea anymore. So it's interesting how what starts out as your idea may not end up being your idea as you get involved.
And alternately, sometimes
Hey,
something
that's why marriages, 50% of them are
fail.
ending divorce.
This is
And
not
that
my
doesn't
idea.
mean the 50 that stayed together are harmonious.
But also, I've seen it when, for instance, you and I travel into New York City, and sometimes the traffic is very light, and other times at the same time of day, traffic is just really backed up. So you go into a situation and it's not your idea that there should be traffic.
Well, not your expectation. Yeah.
But when you treat it as if it's your idea, then you're not stressed.
Right.
It's like happiness.
Well, happiness and not stressed are two different things, I believe. When you're truly happy, you're not engaged in that conversation in your thoughts that's complaining that you have to, whatever the have to may be. That you're where you are, like it's your original idea, like independent of circumstance. It's what you have chosen to do.
Yes.
Rather than you made a decision to do this and now you have to. So you do it, but it ain't fun because it hasn't been your
preference.
Your preference, right?
Let's talk about listening.
Well, yes.
I see listening as such a portal for possibility as well as the experience of well-being and happiness.
Well, in order to truly listen, you have to surrender to hearing what another person has to say. In other words, you have to listen to them as though what they're saying you truly want to hear, not respond to, not agree with or disagree with, but just hear what they have to say. If you do that, the need to disagree and argue disappears. So, most people argue in their thoughts or out loud with another or others about how they should wash the dishes or how they should sweep the floor or that they should sweep the floor or whatever. But if you truly listen, there's nothing you need to resist. There's nothing you need to rebel against. There's nothing you need to fight with, because if you're listening to another person's point of view, that's their point of view.
I was...
Can I have a sip of your tea, by the way?
Sure. I was noticing that the other day, the kind of rebellions we have or the conversations we have that say no against things are often reflexive and pre-programmed and early. And I was down in our kitchen. I was preparing a meal, and you created this incredible knife rack between our countertop and our stove. And it has slots. It's wooden, it has slots, and you put in all the different knives. And when we originally put each knife in the slot, I had the idea that the back of the knife should be facing me. And you had the idea that the front or the cutting edge should be facing us when we lift it out. And what I thought about the other day is we've had this cutting rack now for years.
Since around
2001. And how I don't have a conversation that it should be the other way. That I heard your preference and I embraced it as my own. So I don't now cut myself to prove myself right. It should have been the other way. I don't have an ongoing conversation every time
you put a knife
I
in.
put a knife in. I just had a passing thought, oh, look how notable it is that this was your preference. I didn't really have a preference. It was just aesthetically my idea of how it should have been and how lovely it is and perfect because the knife handles are actually many of them curved, and if we'd done it the other way I would have had to turn my hand
Yes,
the
that's true.
opposite direction.
Well, maybe I looked and saw what was appropriate.
You probably did, and I just had an idea whether it was automatic opposition or
Well, let's get esoteric for a moment.
let's.
Your automatic opposition is a cultural download in
Yes.
the fight between women and men in your family.
Yes.
It's that simple.
Mhm.
And so you're automatically programmed to disagree with just about anything I say.
Yes, including when he says between women and men, I want to add an addendum and men and women. I don't want to own any fight inside of me. It has to be shared equally in that system, which I find pretty funny.
But that is exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, so you get to be right. You lose the possibility of happiness because there's a cost to being right, and that cost is happiness.
Yes.
You get to be right, but you have a fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, life becomes a fight rather than you know, we have a hot tub, and the hot tub has steps, and they're made out of a plastic wood.
So they look like painted wood, but they're really a plastic press board.
Right, pressed plastic, yes. And they, over the years, because it's been at least 10 years that we've had it, they've come undone, and the steps actually gave under our weight when we got into the tub, so it was broken. So I tried to fix it the other day, and I thought I had, but then I looked at it and I used wood, and the wood warped, so it caused everything to misalign. So I took that apart and I put it back together with glue. And I found that there were rods, plastic rods between these boards. So I took those out because they were broken, and I got some dowels, wooden dowel, and I replaced them with that.
So little circular pieces of wood.
Right. And then I put glue in between everything and clamped it all together. I don't know why I am telling you this. It was like, but it
you started with talking about what you give up when you're being right. So I'm wondering if it had something to do with.
Well, I had to give up that I fixed it properly the first time.
Correct. Like I did it. It should be.
It should have worked, but I don't like the way it is, so I just took it apart and redid it.
Right.
And now I think it's going to work just dandy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Should we
take a first guest?
Yeah, why not?
Sandra.
Welcome to being here. Tell people where you're zooming in from. I know you're here somewhere.
Yes.
I hear you.
You can turn on your camera, even though our listeners won't.
There you go. We saw you for a second.
There you go.
Hi, this is Sandra in Basel.
So nice to see you and hear you.
Yes. You know, sister named Sandra.
Pardon?
I had a sister named Sandra.
Really?
Yeah,
Ah.
that's probably why I like you so much.
So good to see you
It is good to
and to
see.
hear you.
Yeah.
And such a nice, I had to laugh when you were talking about preferences and the story about the wooden block with the knives. I just recently moved in with my boyfriend and to a new apartment, and there are so many situations where I have my idea how it should be in this flat. Because I lived for a long time on my own, and now we share.
So
And
did you move into a new place together, or did you move into his place?
we moved into a new place.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's nice. We found a flat where we both, from the first time, we were totally in love.
That's great.
We went in and said, this is it. This we want.
Nice.
So what's your boyfriend's name?
His name is Günay.
Günay?
Günay, yeah. It's a Turkish name.
Hmm.
So you write it G-U with a dots on it.
Yeah.
N-A-Y.
Günay.
Günay. Okay.
Yes.
Great.
Okay.
Günay.
Thank you for spelling it. That was very nice.
You're welcome.
And so,
Yeah, so
he has a very different culture than you're growing up on, likely. And so you both have different opinions on.
Just about everything.
yes. And sometimes it's like, oh no, I want it that way. And actually, sometimes I don't even listen what he is saying to
Well,
explain.
hold it. It isn't sometimes, most of the time.
Mm.
I mean, if you're normal, Sandra, you have like this baffle between you, a barricade between you and hearing, just in case he might have a preference that doesn't align with yours. So you're ready to repel his requests.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting.
You know, it's like this, my dear. You can plan out how you want things to go, or you can be there and see how it's going and let the road determine where you are rather than your thoughts about where you should be on the road. Because
Yeah. I just actually first I had something in my head to talk about, and this just popped up again now when you were saying like going there, because at my work I have to write a lot of protocols. So we have like all day meetings, and I have to take notes of the meeting from this all day meeting, and we put together an agenda. So I have clearly an idea how this day should work and how much time they have for each topic. So, and a lot of time they don't stick to the time. You know, the time slots are gone. So they use too much time for a topic, and then we are lacking behind. And then I noticed that this is not, I want to like that it is going that way. So it's like, so we don't make it. So we don't get through all the topics. And then I get stuck with my notes. You know?
you get stuck being right that they're wrong for doing it the way they're doing it. See, Sandra, it would be a lot easier if you allowed it to go the way it's going.
Yeah.
And whether you agree with it or not is really quite irrelevant to whether or not it turns out the way you want. Because it always turns out the way you want, but you think you don't want it that way. I'd be willing to bet a lot that you have opinions about all the people in these meetings,
Yes.
and your opinions are not always kind.
Yes.
The people you have the worst opinions about are the ones that take the most time.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
I see a few things about that. I have found that when, you know, when we do seminars, we do meetings, and often all day meetings, and we've done meetings for 30 years or more. So one of the things that I've seen is that if somebody is judging somebody, whether it's us or someone else, it takes so much longer to articulate an idea. So that's the first thing, that if you're
it's kind of as though you're writing a paragraph and editing it at the same time.
so that it restricts a person's ability
To self-express.
That's the first thing. Second thing is, when we do these all-day meetings, say a seminar, the early conversations always take longer. They're always more in depth. It just seems the way it is, like whether it's people are getting up to speed or whether there's more interest in pulling apart a topic and looking at all the differences in it. It may be that you think, well, this should take 15 minutes, but if it's early in the day, chances are it's going to take 45, and you haven't necessarily accommodated for that. And if you think, oh, I should be able to do 6 things at 15 minutes, if you take out 1 or 2 topics that you're going to be covering in a day, you may actually get it all done, but you're not owning it from the beginning. You said it in the lead up. I have to do protocols and I have to take notes, rather than I get to set the agenda. I get to put it together. And sometimes we don't make it. And I'm looking at how to make it more efficient. There's a victimhood in your job description.
There's a complaint. And see, if you're complaining, you're going to get to be right, but it's going to cost you to be right.
That's cool. I didn't look at this like that. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild? That just
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. And the other thing is I'm not sure you've spoken to the people you're managing at the end. Let's say you have 10 topics on the agenda and you've only gotten to 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
Do you afterwards go, is this too many things in the agenda, or is there a way we could manage it more efficiently so we could get to all 10? What is your opinion, so that the next one we can do it better? Like, there's not a partnership in that, because if they say, oh no, I really think we should have gotten to the 10, then chances are you could in the middle of a meeting say, we're running out of time for this topic, what else needs to be handled in the next 2 minutes? And like, you could manage people.
Yeah.
What is your position or role in this, in the structure of the meetings you're in?
So I'm the coordination person, so the administrative support I do for them. So it's a committee. They are like external peoples coming to our office, and I'm organizing the meeting, setting up the agenda, put all the material together so that they have the information for the day. And then I'm writing the protocols for that.
Uh-huh. Do they read it
Yes.
before the meeting?
You mean the documents?
Yeah, the stuff they're supposed to be talking about.
Part of it, I think. They don't read everything.
So are you allowed to manage them during the meeting, saying we're running long on this piece?
Yes, I do that actually. So I say like, I say, let them know it's like, so we have like these topics we have to do today because of a deadline. So I'm really telling them, yeah, or running late. This I do.
Nice.
Do you do it nicely? Or do you make them wrong for being the way they've been being?
Both, I think.
Okay. Well, see if you can do it nicely rather than making them wrong. Because when you make them
Yeah.
wrong, everything takes longer.
That's the thing, I know that when I'm doing things, I sometimes get really involved in the things I'm doing. And it's always been really nice if somebody reminds me, we have lunch in 10, or we have to handle this, and we let them know up front that since we have these 4 things that we really need to handle today, go ahead and get involved. And I may from time to time remind you of the time frame, just so that it can run smoothly. So please excuse me in advance, but I may give you some timing notes in the middle. And then if you go, oh, we only have 15 more minutes on this, they'll be grateful rather than you're like, we only have 15 more minutes on this.
Yeah, it was more like this.
More like the second one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. That's a good idea. Yeah.
It really comes back to ownership, where it's like, I know your English is very good, but I do believe you actually meant I have to write protocols, I have to write agendas, I have to take notes, rather than it's like this privilege, this game, this possibility of how to have it be this magnificent experience, as opposed to have to.
See, if you're trying to get it to go the way you want, you're in trouble. Because it's going to go, how many people? 10 people?
Yeah, 10 to 12 people.
Yeah, it's going to go the way it goes, and they don't always agree with each other.
Yeah.
So you cannot, it's like herding cats,
Dogs, you can get into a go along, but cats have their own minds of their own, that's for sure.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for this.
I'm really excited for you, because I suspect you're really good at your job, but if you just make that slight adjustment of ownership and attitude, it might be a whole lot more fun for you.
And listening. Because if you agree or disagree, you're not listening. You're comparing what they're saying to what you want to hear or don't want to hear.
Yeah.
So listening, especially with your boyfriend, will make life much easier.
Well, let's go back to, I know before we end the segment with you, if you practice recognizing when you're automatically taking an oppositional stance.
If you notice, keep bringing your attention to how you're being when somebody's speaking to you.
And you don't judge yourself for anything you see, you're going to get practiced at letting go of your judgmental nature.
Your automatic behaviors.
You're wanting it your way.
It will fall away. And then you can be there as an objective observer in your own life.
And the scientist affects the experiment. So if you are in a room where you have set the agenda and you are in there practiced at letting go of your preferences and your judgments, it will automatically be a safe space, and things will run have the tendency to run much smoother.
So there's another thing, Sandra. You have a beautiful smile. You're a lovely person, and you are very, very powerful.
Thank you.
I thought you were going to say hard-headed, like,
well,
yes,
but
like,
that's powerful
yes,
too.
it is.
You get things done, and you're determined and all that, but you can do it softer and easier and get it done more efficiently and better, because you won't have blowback from those people who don't like to be told what to do.
Cool. I'm looking forward to practice for the next meeting.
And congratulations on your new
apartment.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, it's time for the listener feedback spotlight.
It's where we get to hear from people in this amazing listenership and transformation community talking about what's happening in their lives.
Hi, this is Claire in Waldorf, Maryland. And I really appreciate the Being Here podcast because it allows me to be kind to myself. And when I'm kind to myself, it opens a new world of possibilities for me that I'm so grateful for.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shya's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
That was fun.
It was.
Hey, we were speaking of fun, another 2 days, Hamburg Ho. Tomorrow we have the Freedom to Breathe in a seminar live and in person, our first one in Europe for years now due to COVID. And then Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, we have fun.
As the access way to enlightenment.
Also, for all those of you who are attending and are still in the area, Monday night, we're also doing a live and in-person event, Living Made Easy in Hamburg. And then we'll be back to our virtual schedule for upcoming in June. Our next virtual weekend seminar
is Being Boldly You. And that will be June 24th and 25th.
You can find out more about any of our seminars. You can register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
You know, it's easy transformation.
Yes, it is easy.
You know, the ideas we have make it difficult.
Let's take our next guest.
Yes.
All right. Welcome, Uli. Where are you zooming in from?
Hi, this is Uli, and I'm zooming in from Cologne, a little bit outside of Cologne in Germany.
Nice to have you with us. Welcome.
Yeah, nice. It's so nice to see you guys.
Thank you.
I have been noticing something lately. I have bought some technical equipment for my work. I'm a conference interpreter, so I work simultaneously and I run an agency. And for a long time, I'd been wanting to buy some equipment of my own. And I did at the end of last year. And so a booth, that's what it's called, where we sit in when we work, and some technical equipment. And then after 2 months, we thought it would be nice to have something to use for online interpreting too. So I bought another booth. And my husband and I, we rented a space very close to where we live to store the equipment and to work from there. Yes. And it's a very lovely place. And we are renovating it. We are preparing everything. And it is exactly what I want. It was my idea, and I still want it very much. It's still a good idea, and I'm still convinced it's going to work. And there are but there are times when I'm really energetic and I'm like, okay, we need these chairs. This is what I'm going to order. Bum, 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 no problem. And then there are times when I get really cranky and I feel sorry for myself, and I even got myself into a temper tantrum because I wanted to buy a holder for spare toilet paper rolls that I needed to order. It took me, I don't know, it took me days to make up my mind what I wanted to buy. And that's surprising me.
Well, I see a couple of things about it, Uli. One is sometimes we don't have all the information, so we can't make the choice yet. Like Shya and I are getting ready to, or we'll be going on another trip sometime soon, and I have to buy the airlines, and it's like we're going to go visit a friend of ours while we're in the area. Do we want to visit before the trip or after the trip? Sometimes it takes me a while to actuate those things because I don't have all the information, like which is going to be better for our schedule, which is going to be better for his. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing. I suspect that when you're having difficulty doing something like purchasing the perfect toilet paper holder, you haven't recognized you're already upset.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say you're fun and it's fun and direct, and then other times, I thought you were going to say, my mind filled in with it takes longer, it's slower, but you said I'm cranky.
Mm-hmm.
Cranky is the symptom that happens after you've missed something and you've been upset for a while. Cranky is the outward manifestation of
upset.
Okay.
and
Yes. Mm-hmm.
it manifests over the toilet paper holder. I said, yes, now you're chuckling too. When that, it's not that huge a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you haven't trained yourself to be suspect when you're getting crazy over your toilet paper holder.
Yes, that sounds very true.
See, and you probably look immediately at what you're up to and say, well, that's why I'm feeling cranky.
Yes.
But I would be willing to bet that a day or two before, something happened that may have involved loss or some kind of threat to your survival, real or imagined.
Or you resisted something.
That was like, if somebody coughs, you don't get the flu immediately. It takes a few days.
Well, it's COVID. If you were around somebody who had COVID, you didn't have symptoms of having caught the virus the moment you caught it. It took a while to develop it. So then
it's the same thing with upset.
It's the same thing with upset.
There's an initiating moment, and then apparently everything's fine. And all of a sudden, a day or two later,
you're cranky.
Right.
And then you look around and say, oh, I'm cranky.
Because of the toilet paper holder.
Rather than that was a upset virus that bloomed over time and you didn't catch the departure point from well-being.
Yes. Now I'm tempted to ask what to do.
Well, actually, awareness is key. Awareness is a non-judgmental seeing of how you're going about your life. So if you notice non-judgmentally that you've done something that you think you should have done differently, like me and my steps to my hot tub, all you have to do is fix it. You don't have to get yourself upset that it didn't work out properly.
We have this amazing mask that we bought in Bali, Indonesia. I believe it's still downstairs. On one, when you turn it one way, it's a smile. And you take it off, you turn it around, and you put it back on your face, it's a frown. And it's really wild how you can actually embody the essence of that mask. And I'm saying that because when you say I'm suddenly cranky, you still, from time to time, have put your face in the cranky mask, rather than when you find yourself looking out of cranky eyes and a cranky face set and a cranky body, you haven't stepped back from that mask and you're still holding the cranky now in your hand. But I could say to Shya, wow, I'm having cranky thoughts, rather than
I'm cranky,
where you're talking through it as if it's true.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk about it. It's super cool.
I see. Mm-hmm.
And you don't even have to talk about it. The seeing of it is enough for it to complete itself. If you see that initiating moment where you got upset, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not, like, there've been times like we'll be driving somewhere and she'll say, I'm having these really strange thoughts. I'm picking on you in my head and you haven't done anything wrong, but I'm watching these really unkind thoughts go by. And so then often I'll go, well, did I do anything? And they'll say no. And then we'll say, who are we going to go see? Or who did you meet out on the river yesterday? Or let's check our emails. Like, sometimes were in contact or have had that initial push, or is there something you're concerned about elsewhere and it's manifesting
Well,
here?
I like what you said about who'd you meet on the river, because if my attitude towards Ariel changes radically and is not like it normally is, I look to see who I've been around, who I've been in communication with, who I've been talking with,
And
because frequently you can take on their mindset without even realizing it. You just sync up.
Mhm.
we,
I think you do it all the time with your translating, by the way.
well,
Well,
you
you-
have
mhm.
you're skilled at that, because if somebody is talking about a subject they're passionate about, you in order to simul translate, you want to get the nuance of what they're saying, not just the exact words. You have to somehow find what their meaning is and what they're talking about.
And you
Yeah,
have to
that's true. Mhm.
get excited about it the way they get excited about it to translate what they're saying.
I'm watching you smile.
Yes, that's accurate. Yeah.
So, and we naturally do that. We go into a room and we've made up a word
Word.
for it. We call it linchronization, where you link up and sync up. It's a survival strategy passed down from our ancestors. That's part of how we're here. We can identify and synchronize with people around us so that we will survive.
Mhm.
And sometimes you don't catch it, and you've grabbed somebody's reality that
And-
men are jerks or women are,
Less?
annoying or less. Yeah.
That's so cool. And I'm glad it's not the toilet paper holder.
No, it's not a toilet paper holder. That's the thing. The toilet paper holder gets blamed for a lot of things. One of them.
Yeah, that's cool. Thank you.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah. Really lovely being with you. And,
Yes.
it's interesting, Uli, you asked this question and I found it very genuine. But and the thing that's neat about it is you're genuinely mystified by the what was happening, how it happened. But I find that the way you used to be really hard on yourself for it having happened, the cranky, you were telling us, I get cranky, but I didn't hear you going judging yourself for having gotten cranky. You just wanted to sort it out. And that's
Yes.
so lovely, because most often we see things we don't appreciate, want, and then we're really hard on ourselves. And it's lovely to see you still glowing through the whole process.
That's great. Thank you. Yes, I was actually rather surprised by that instead of being really hard on myself.
Yeah, getting cranky.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Hey, that's what happiness is, where you realize that this moment is your life and there's nothing you need to do differently to be okay.
Mhm.
That's such a relief.
I woke up on my birthday recently, and I think I was making a sandwich to take out with us because we were fishing that day. And as I was spreading I was doing the muffin. I was spreading some butter on the muffin. I'm like, this is what heaven feels like. This spread of the knife. This moment is where happiness resides, in not someday when
You get the perfect toilet paper holder.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
yeah.
And I'm so excited to see you in Hamburg, that you're
Yeah,
coming
we
to
are
to
excited.
Germany. It's
Yeah.
been so long.
And you in person, it's gonna be good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm.
Oh, you want to be a guest like Uli or Sandra? You're welcome. You just contact us through transformationmadeeasy.com/being here and find out how. And if you enjoyed the episode, go ahead and share it. Share it with your friends. Why not? And
Why not?
you're welcome to join us for anything we're up to. Just again, go to Transformation madeeasy.com. And next week's
I was trying to figure out what it was.
next week's episode is GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. We're gonna have fun with that episode. So
Yes,
come on back,
and don't miss
being here.